ask me why. Don't ask me why. I told you once before that I don't know. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why.
The latest Ade Asks interviews this time is a long-serving player for Slough. He's been here, there and everywhere with the Rebels. He's followed us through the highs, as it is. Today's interview is Sean Fraser. Sean, welcome.
Thank you very much, Ade. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, good.
I guess I've got to ask about your mum and dad being well as well, because your mum used to listen in all the time and your dad pops down as well. So they're both okay?
Yeah, they're well, thanks. Yeah, they are both missing football. I think my mum's missing listening to you on the radio, and my dad's obviously missing a bit at the games. But yeah, they're both well, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. And how are you work-wise? You working at the moment?
Yeah, I've been back to work for a few weeks now, so sort of feels pretty normal for me. I was off for about 6-7 weeks, which was nice. Spent some time with the little one, which was good, because I'd never be able to spend that amount of time with him normally. So that's been really good. It's a positive about the whole situation. But yeah, back to work now, so things are, for me, seem very normal, pretty much as normal as they can be, I guess.
I wanted to talk to you about, obviously we've had the news this week that the Premier League's returning and that the National League have said there's going to be the possibility of playoffs. How difficult is it for you guys as players? Because you're now in that period of time where at work they're expecting you to be there for maybe 2 months. It's the kind of time when there isn't any football. How hard will it be for you if they turn around and say in July, August, you've got to train and get the playoffs ready? Would it be hard for you guys working, which you're normally not working at? Well, you know, you should be working at this time anyway, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be too different, to be honest with you. With what goes on throughout the season, all the boys work and play. You know, some lads can't make training for work reasons and things like that. So we're all very busy during the day, and then obviously when the football comes in the evenings and the weekends. So I don't think it would be a massive challenge for everyone if they said, you know, we need you in for July, August. I think, to be honest with you, I think a lot of the boys would be quite happy with it, to be honest.
Is it that kind of thing where you're itching and missing that kind of, not just the football, but I guess the camaraderie between the team as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's been strange, sort of where the season ended at Weymouth. I think that Bakes and I just said in the change room it could be the last time we play this season. We sort of thought, oh, that can't be true. But it turns out that it potentially could be, although playoffs might go ahead. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But yeah, it's been odd not having the season finishing, but the time that it's been off is sort of a similar time when we would finish anyway, so sort of May, June. But yeah, what will be, I guess.
Right, as I said in the beginning, you are our longest serving active player. You did have a career before Slough somehow. I don't know how, because you seem like you've been here for ages.
I was born at the club, yeah.
You look like you're still like 23, 24.
I'm still 21 on the website. I think they've changed it now. I was about 21 for about 5 years on it. I was doing quite well.
You started at Falkirk and Coventry. Just tell us a little bit about those times.
Yeah, so I was at academy football from a very young age. I was at Reading from about 8 years old through to 16. Didn't quite make it there, didn't get a scholarship there. So I did my 2 years sort of youth under 18 scholarship at Coventry. Had some good times there. It didn't quite work out. I had sort of reserve football on the bench a couple of times for the first team. Didn't quite make an appearance, which probably went against me a little bit. Didn't get offered a pro contract there. And then went up to Falkirk. I'm not sure how it came about. I think the manager at Coventry, who had Gregor Rioch, Bruce Rioch's son, was our manager there at the time. I think he knew an agent or someone involved with a link up in Scotland, as you do with agents, and just got talking, and they offered me a year up there. Didn't go to plan at all. I was sort of hoping to make an impression up there. Didn't work out. Got injured 2-3 months in. Tore my cartilage in my right knee, which sort of put me out for about a year. was a long injury because I couldn't get back. I had a period of about 3 months where they didn't operate, so I thought I might be able to sort of get through it with some strength rehab on my quads and stuff like that to strengthen around the knee. Didn't work, so I had the operation, and that year, a long time ago now, that year they got relegated from the SPL, so loads of players left, including me, and didn't get offered anything. So I went back down to Maidenhead, where my parents live, and was sort of doing rehab still, and then got back training. I ended up training with Maidenhead United for sort of pre-season. Niz was there actually at the time, and I did my knee again in a pre-season game. So I was sort of out for most of the season, that season. I had another operation on it, and luckily it was sort of mended and it's okay now. So I haven't had any real issues with my knee at all. I've been quite lucky with injuries, to be honest, with my time at Slough, which has been pretty good.
How did you come to join Slough then?
I think literally it's very old school. I think I was looking for a local club. And I think my dad at the time said, "Oh, why don't you try Slough? They got good following and blah blah blah." So I think I went on the website and sent an email or a letter or something like that to either the secretary or might have even director Steve Bateman at the time. Just sort of gave him a little bit of my background and sort of could I come training, and just went from there really. Sort of turned up pre-season, and the rest is history. It's still here.
So that email, did you think 8 years down the line that you would still be at Slough in the top 10 appearances?
No, I didn't know. To be honest with you, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't actually think I'd end up being at Slough after pre-season. To be honest, I wasn't really sure sort of how it went, but I got offered sort of to stay that season, and I can't believe that I'm still here. I'm very thankful to still be here because obviously all the highs we've had since, it's been pretty special, to be honest.
So Steve Bateman signed, you had that first season. I want to talk about the cup runs a little bit later, but then after a season, Bakes and Unders came in. How difficult was it for you? Because obviously they got rid of quite a lot of the established players or the older players that had been there. Was it easy for you just to fit in? Were you happy with their style?
Initially, I thought that they were going to pretty much bring the whole squad that had a Godalming with them, and they had a right back that Wes they brought. We actually signed at Slough, and I initially thought that they weren't going to keep me on because they hadn't seen me play. I don't think I don't think I played against them. I might have been on the bench, I think, but I think through either Woos or Logie, a few of the older players at Slough at the time, I think they put in a good word for me to Bakes and Unders. So I was a little bit unknown to them. And I think with their sort of recommendation, if you like, for me to sort of stay on, I think that helped me and gave me an opportunity to stay and sort of prove my worth during that pre-season. And I think that first season went pretty well.
It wasn't a bad first season, was it really?
No, not a bad first season at all.
So do you dread the summer then? Are you expecting the phone call, or is it just a nice surprise when Bakes or Unders picks it up in June or something and says, "Come back, Sean"?
Well, you can never be too sure, really. It's a nice phone call to have, and I speak to. They're pretty open with sort of speaking with players, and sort of you pretty know how you stand with them. So I don't think that people that aren't kept on are surprised. I think that most people have an idea of where they stand with them, which is good. There's an understanding between managers and players, which helps because it just makes it a lot easier. But if they were to go in a different direction, wanted change, then you could fully understand that. But so for 8 years or so, I've had a good text message and a good conversation. So
it's been a bit of, you're a lucky charm, really, aren't you, for Slough? I don't realise you've realised, but you've had 3 cup runs and 2 promotions. That's
Yeah.
some achievement for just 8 years, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been pretty special, to be fair. I think the first season without Bakes and Unders, we had the first round FA Cup run, which ended at a replay at Mansfield at Beaconsfield's ground, and we got a draw up there, which was pretty special. It was a 0-0 draw, but it just sort of felt like 90 minutes of defending. And then the second game, we were pretty unlucky. I think the penalties decided it. And yeah, unfortunate with that. But yeah, it was a pretty good first season, good experience. And then yeah, when Bakes and Unders came in, we've rocketed from there really.
I don't know if you realise, but Sean Sonner's penalty is still in outer space at the moment. It got mistaken for a planet the other week.
Yeah, I think the penalties taken that evening weren't very good. I think if I'd have taken one, I might have actually done a little bit better than what was taken. But you never know.
No, you can't go on penalties. Jack's got those now, apparently.
Yeah, he's got those. I don't think I can have a claim for taking any penalties. I don't score enough.
So talking about the cup runs, you mentioned Mansfield away with the Japanese referee, wasn't it? And then the replay.
Yeah.
Then we've had Rochdale and Gillingham. Which one's been your best cup run?
Well, the last two sort of rolled into one because were they back to back?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd probably say the Rochdale one for me. I think to get to that position for the first time for a lot of the players in the squad, and the way we got there was pretty special. And obviously the second time was amazing as well. It was pretty similar squad again, but yeah, I think that first time was pretty cool with all the cameras and whatnot that came with it, which was pretty special for all the players and definitely good exposure for the club as well.
Did it feel easier that second time at home to Gillingham? Because like you say, that first time you've got all the cameras, all the kind of razzmatazz, all the media that goes with it. And then the second time, although it wasn't a live game, you guys were used to the fact that there was cameras there and pitch side commentators and whatever going on.
I think the players. I didn't play that game. I think the players probably felt more relaxed, more accustomed to sort of what to expect against a full-time side that were playing for something. It's very different playing a team like that in pre-season to play them when you're both playing for something. It's very different. But I felt that everyone was felt a lot more relaxed around the changing room. I think both the managers were a lot more relaxed and felt pretty confident, actually. It was only a sort of a wonder strike that separated, I think, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it was we were well in the game. I think it was quite unlucky, really, but sort of the quality that they had with the goals sort of was the difference.
And do you, as a player, prefer those cup runs or do you prefer the promotions?
I'd have to say the promotions, sorry, plural. I think that the cup runs are special, but to do it over a season, to play all those games and to go up both times in the playoffs is pretty special because to get through that semi-final is nerve-wracking enough. And then to get to the final and get over the line twice is pretty special, really.
And going behind in both games as well.
Yeah, exactly. You sort of forget that. The club's been showing the highlights of certain games, and I remember watching the Kettering game again. Couldn't believe the first half, and I actually remember in the change room sitting there thinking, I couldn't see how we were going to turn it around. And then when we went out there and scored that first goal, it just felt, I don't know, for me, it just felt like we had a massive chance. So, and we obviously went on to go and win. So massive turnaround that half, yeah.
So you've been with us at step 4. We're now at step 2. How has it been for you in the changing room and how the game has gone? Obviously, we've got some more professional players come in with the likes of Sam, Scott, Ryan Bird. Has it rubbed off on you? Is the dressing room a bit different from 2 levels ago?
Yeah, definitely. The whole setup of the club, obviously moving to the grounds, has helped attract certain players. Obviously, being the level we are now, it's a lot more professional. The sessions we have, obviously with Lee, who's a great coach, the sessions he does are very technical and tactical as well. Really help. Obviously, got a lot of experienced players in that change room as well. The whole setup is for a non-league club is very, very professional, I'd say. Yeah.
And what about your own personal development? Because you joined when we were step 4. You had a good first season. Bakes and unders come in. How have you progressed as well, coming up those 2 levels?
Yeah, I don't know really. I don't know how I judge it. I guess still being here says enough. The amount of players that have come and gone throughout the years. It'd be interesting. Someone might know how many players have been here since I've been here. But to still be here, I guess, is a good sign. I would say I've developed sort of with the club, really. I guess I've never felt out of place when we've been promoted into different leagues, and it's still the same at this league. Maybe not playing as much definitely as much as I was before, but still feel that more than good enough at this level.
Do you think that at this level too, it's easier because the players are better? You're all on some kind of same wavelength. Where at your step 4s, you've got these people that will just try anything, and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. I think the games flow a lot better than they obviously did at that level, and the quality you come up against is noticeable. There's always 1 or 2 real threats in each team at step 2, probably more than that, to be honest. Certainly all the attacking players are, you will come against, you're going to be in for a tough game. Whereas at level before step 3, even step 4, certainly, there were certain teams you just knew pretty much you could just turn up. But obviously at this level, it's not the same at all. A lot of ex-professionals and a lot of good players that are trying to progress and obviously look to get into the full-time game.
And obviously, I guess that the grounds are better, the stadiums are better. What about the dressing rooms? Are a little bit better at the National League level?
There's still some ropey ones about, but yeah, the standard is a lot better. Obviously, the pitches are a lot better. You don't get too many bobbles in the Conference South. Apart from Hungerford, you might get a few, but most of the pitches are of a really, really good standard. So, yeah.
Do you feel that the coach journeys and the travel to away games at National League South is a little bit more professional than it was 2 levels ago?
Yeah, I would say the journeys we make on the coach, we've got a good group of lads that play cards that probably didn't have back then when we were at that level. Probably didn't have as many coach journeys. It's always quite a good buzz on the coach before the game, especially after when we win. It's a good atmosphere. Which the away games are actually really important, I think, especially travelling. It sort of really gets players together. You've seen some of the initiation songs that players have sung and things like that. It's really good for the squad, good for new players coming in, makes them feel pretty settled. I'd say that most players that do come to the club are settled pretty quickly. I've never really seen players that have certainly not enjoyed their time at Slough.
So I want to ask you, because a lot of people won't realise, but you are a new dad.
Yeah.
How hard has it been for you as a new dad, not only working, obviously, before, the current situation, you're a new dad, you've got a full-time job and you're playing football. Is it hard? Does it affect you on a match day? Because sometimes you don't get sleep, you have a sleepless night. Is it tough?
Yeah, it's I think it's tough for my wife. I think that the fact that I'm away Tuesday, Thursdays, evenings, and then obviously most of Saturday, I think it's quite hard for her. But she's brilliant, to be fair to her. So she's sort of coped with the whole thing really well. but yeah, being away I think is the hardest thing. Our little boy's actually really, really good. He's not a crier, if you like. He's pretty settled at a really young age. He's nearly 9 months now. So born in September. So I had him. I think I can't remember what game it was. I remember I was listening to the. I think it was Eastbourne away. I think I was listening to the radio. That was it. And yeah, so he was born around then. So pretty much most of the season, he's been with us. But he's he's not caused too many problems. He's pretty good.
And I guess you must have great support from your mum and dad and your in-laws helping out your wife with the baby.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, before the restrictions were in place, you could obviously were able to go and see family freely. But her mum's been really good with Teddy. You know, was able to help and been a big support for Grace, which is nice. And obviously, my parents being close as well, it makes it a lot easier for her if there are any issues. If I'm away on a Saturday, especially, that you know she's got someone to help her, which is good. It makes my life a bit easier knowing if I'm not there, then there's good support around her, which is good.
And do you think that fans maybe take players for granted because, you know, if people didn't know that you'd had a young lad in September, you know, you're working and you have these sleepless nights and you maybe have a bad game or you make a mistake or something like that, fans just seem to kind of pick without realising the circumstances that the players are under.
Yeah, of course. I think it is difficult. You can't blame the fans because also they want what's best and they want to see wins, goals every game, no mistakes from Slough players. But I think being especially at sort of National League South level, it's a big commitment. Obviously, the standard is pretty high, so you have to be on your game. And you can't really. It is difficult if you've not slept. I've been to a couple of games where I've sort of been up sort of 4 or 5 times in the night, more from him just waking up crying. But yeah, when you don't have the sleep to go and then try and perform best you can, it's sometimes difficult. I think the Tuesday night games are probably a little bit harder because you've had a full day at work. At least on the Saturday, if you haven't slept too much at the night, you can try and get a little bit of a line if you can on the Saturday morning. But the Tuesday night games, obviously, if you haven't slept well on the Monday night and you've got a full day's work and you've got to go straight from work to the game, it can be difficult. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Just sort of have to get on with it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm quite used to getting up 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night, but that's just old age. So let's go back to your Slough career. You have played, as far as I can tell, right back, left back, centre midfield, and right midfield. What is your preferred position? I want you to go into Bakes and Unders. I don't think they've got an office, but I want you to go and knock on their door whenever you go back and say, "Look, give me a run here. This is what I want."
It's got to be striker. No, I'm joking. It'd probably be centre midfield. I think, well, Bakes and Unders know that actually. We've had a few conversations over probably the last 2 or 3 years. I have been using midfield probably a little bit more this season than any other season. But yeah, I'll say centre midfield because I actually started when I was playing as a kid. Now I guess getting older, as a central midfield player. So that's where I started, and it was only actually when I moved to Slough that I ended up playing at right back, and just sort of ended up playing there. You know, I feel like I've done pretty well at right back over the years at Slough, but not that I've not enjoyed playing at right back. But if I had a choice, I do actually prefer playing central midfield.
Well, I think the last 2 games of note that I've seen you play centre midfield would be Chippenham away this season where you set up a goal, and Gainsborough away. Would that be about right? Surely you should be banging on that door saying, "Look what I can do."
Stats don't lie. That's it. No, it's difficult. You've got a lot of players, good players in that midfield area. So there's competition all over the place, but it's sort of been good that the fact that we've played 3 in there, more so this season with the two holding. Usually it's the Togwell brothers, but it's sort of given me a little bit more opportunity in there, especially when Lee was injured for a large part at the start of the season. Sort of gave me a little bit more opportunity to sort of show what I could do in there, I guess. And I enjoyed it when I played in there.
Well, you've jumped the gun and you mentioned your goal scoring exploits.
Yeah, this won't take long, will it?
Took you 99 games to get your first goal, almost as long as Scott Davis.
Almost. I think you tweet him that. I think.
I might have rubbed it in. I might have rubbed it in a little bit. Can you remember your 5 goals for Slough?
But I probably can. I probably can't name who they're against or when they were, but I can. But was that what your question was? Can I name a goal?
I was going to say that.
No, go on. I'll give it a go. First one, Burnham.
Yeah. From about how far out was it? About a foot out?
20 yards. 20. About half a yard, probably. You don't miss those, do you? Second one, Hayes, was it?
Hayes and Yedin, yeah.
Third one, was it Beaconsfield?
A 25 yarder.
Yeah, that was actually a great strike. It's a shame it wasn't filmed because
I know. I'm
very happy with that one actually. I was a bit surprised myself, but it was. That's my best goal actually, the strike wise. What have we got? 4 was Gainsborough.
Yep.
And 5 would be Dartford.
Yeah, well done.
See, it's not hard though, is it? I guess.
FCVideo would like to do a goal collection, but I don't think there's even filmed apart from one.
No, that's it. Yeah, none of them are that spectacular. I wouldn't have won goal of the season with any of those. I don't think.
So what are you going to do when your young son Teddy grows up and you can't show him those great goals?
I'll have to lie to him. No, there might be 1 or 2 videos kicking about I could show him that prove that I did actually score a goal.
Yeah, we could do one of those recreate a goal kind of.
Yeah,
you've always got the Gainsborough one, haven't you, as well? All your appearances.
Yeah.
How many yellow cards do you think you've got in that time? Have a rough guess.
Not that many. I think I had a spell where I got carded. I think 3 or 4 times in a row, pretty quickly. I think it was one point where, was it? There was a chance where you miss a game or 2 from the amount of bookings you've had before a certain date. I think I was 1 away from it on that last game. I didn't get one. Probably say 10.
No, you're not that good. Not that good. 20.
20. Okay, I guess 20. Yeah, 20 is not too bad. No red cards though.
No. You do realise that Guy Hollis gets 20 yellow cards in one season, don't you?
20 yellow cards a game, did he?
I want you to talk about your best moment, because obviously we talked about the promotions and the cup run. What has been your best moment in a Slough shirt?
I'd have to say the Kettering promotion, the first one. I think it being the first time we'd won something, or I'd won something at the club, and I think the expectation for us that season was it was quite high. I think when I came to Slough, it was always like, Slough should be the team to go up and blah blah blah. I think when we did it, that first season with Bakes and Unders was a massive achievement, especially with all the new players coming in. It was a massive achievement and one that I remember very, very well. So I'd say that's the best moment for me in the Slough shirt. There's been a lot of highlights, but I'd say that one was being the first was pretty special.
I was a bit drunk that night, but after the Kings Lynn,
most of the Slough fans were, and players by the end of it.
After the Kings Lynn game, did you tell me something about a story about your mum and your fiance? Whether it was a hen do or something.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, I think my Grace was in Marbella for a hen do. I think they'd put into. Did they write to or send a message to you to say?
Yeah.
That was it, and then they heard it when they were. I think they were either going out or they were being out, and they were. Yeah, they heard you sort of mention them. So I think they got pretty excited about that, listening to you mention their names on the radio.
And didn't they go a bit wild when a certain man scored a goal?
Yeah, that was it. They went crazy apparently because they were trying to listen to it what they could whilst they were there, and I think when that went in, they were. Pretty drunk, so it probably made the celebrations a little bit better.
Right. Let's some of the questions that we got. Obviously, you've been here for so long.
Yeah.
The biggest question that everyone asked was, have you thought about leaving, or have you had offers to leave that you've turned down?
Yeah, I've turned down some big clubs, Real Madrid, United. No, I haven't actually ever really thought about leaving Slough. Never. End of the season, I've never. I've always sort of hoped or thought that if I can stay or get offered another deal, if you like, for the following season, I'd always say yes to it. I've never thought about leaving, and I haven't actually had any offers. I think because, well, maybe I've not been wanted by any other teams, but they've sort of maybe known that I've obviously been at Slough for a long time. There's a big connection there, and yeah, I've never really thought about leaving. So I'm sure there will be a time where I have to move on for whatever reason. But yeah, I've never thought about it personally. No.
And just a quick one, with the current climate, if they turn around and said the season's null and void, should they take off your appearances for this season?
I don't know. It would probably leave me only 5 less, wouldn't it? No, I think you've got to count them. I think the players that score goals, and I don't think they'd be very happy if all their goals went off. So I think I'd keep the appearances. It's put me in the top 10. So that was a proud achievement. Actually, thinking about it, that was probably a big achievement. Going back to the Kettering, I think that's probably a personal achievement to break into that top 10. It was massive. It was something I never really thought about. And then when it got over to 300, I looked at the table and thought, oh, there's a good chance that I've got here to get into that. And I'm sure I'll be overtaken at some point. But yeah, to achieve it is that was a big achievement personally as well.
Did you ever think when you signed for Slough that 8 years down the line you'd still be here wearing the amber and blue?
No, I don't think any player thinks past the season really, unless you've got players on contracts for 2 or 3 years. But no, I think it's I don't know. It's just sort of the way it's gone. It's just been a great ride. We've been on the up since I've started. Not saying because when I joined, it was the catalyst for that, but there was never any reason for me to look anywhere else or want to go anywhere else, just because of the way the club was going, the management, all the players that were coming in. Each season got better and better, and I think it's continuing to do that. So it's a great club. It's a great club with good support. I'm sure all the lads that have been on with you have said how good it is. The players that have been away and come back realise what a special club it is in non-league. So yeah, I'm massively proud to be a part of it.
And is that one of the things that keeps you here? Is you've seen players leave and come back because they've realised just how good it is here at the moment, you know, in the dressing room, off the pitch, with what's going on at Arbor Park, and then on the pitch? Yeah,
I think that players that certainly opposition would come to us would see what a great setup it is. Players that have gone away to other teams and have come back have said, you know, what a great setup it is. All the lads, the management team. I don't know any different, so it's hard for me, obviously, to sit here and say. But from what I've experienced and what I've heard from certainly from others, and other players I know at different clubs say how things operate there, and also I tell them how things go at Slough, and that they always say like, wow, that's good the way they do things, and you know how all the players are looked after. I think we're looked after really well as non-league players.
And what is next for Sean Fraser? I mean, are you looking possibly at being a coach or a manager I know it's a long way off. You've still got like 10 years to play.
I've got another set. Well, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I don't know if I'd get into management. I honestly don't know. I think I would certainly miss it. So I'd want to get into some sort of coaching possibly. I used to do some coaching, and then I just got too busy with work, so I wasn't able to commit to the evenings with everything else going on. So yeah, potentially get into coaching. Obviously, when Teddy gets a little bit older, I'm hoping he likes his football, so I can maybe try and help his local team out or whoever's who he's playing for. But in terms of me playing, I'm just going to try and stay fit for as long as I can and sort of play for as long as I can, because everyone you speak to that's come away from it, either from injury or just age or personal circumstances, always say that they miss it and wish they could have played another season at least.
Right, let's go on to the stuff that the nitty gritty as it is. Best ground that you've played at?
Best ground. What, for Slough?
Whatever, whoever, whenever.
Best ground. Played at Highbury as a kid. Didn't play. I think I played on a full pitch. I think I was about 11 or 12. So I'd say, yeah, Highbury was pretty special. For Slough, I'd probably say best ground. Mansfield, probably.
Quite nice there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
Best player you've played with, best player you've played against?
Ooh, best player I played with. I think best player probably. I'm going to give it to my mate Dobber. I think that season before he got his move, I think everything he did was pretty special. Everything he touched seemed to go in the net. So yeah, I'd probably say that season definitely him for in Slough shirt. Best player I played against probably. I don't know his name. I always get bantered about this by the lads. The Welling lad.
Lagoon.
Yeah, he ran rings around me. Yeah, I was told by Bakes and Undies he's a good player, but I didn't realise how good he was. That was probably my toughest game in the Slough shirt. I couldn't get near him for the whole game. Yeah, I don't think I still get near him now. So yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't come up against me again, but we'll see.
Your funniest moment or the funniest moment you've seen in football?
Funniest moment? Gosh, I don't know. Funny moments. I don't think there's. We haven't had any streakers or anything, have we?
Do you know what we did? But I'm not sure if you was at the club at the time. There was one at Beaconsfield. It was I think it was a cup game, like a League Cup game or something. There was a few lads and one of them streaked.
No, I wasn't there for that one. To be honest, I can't think of many funny moments. Really, bit boring, to be honest. Boring answer.
Right. Okay then. Manny outed you as the tightest player on a night out. That's what you said on the interview.
He never comes on the nights out, does he?
Do you want to get your own back, or do you think there's someone out there a little bit tighter than you?
Tighter than me? Who's tighter than night out? Current squad. Do you know what? It's hard to get many players out on a night out, it seems, at the moment. When we do go, there's the usuals. Who's tighter than night? I'll say Niz. I'm going to say Niz. He doesn't use any of his own money. He uses the fine money, and he always seems to have some money left over at the end of the season. So I don't know what goes on with that. You'll have to ask him that one.
Go on then. What's the strangest fine at Slough Town then?
Strangest fine. What's the strangest one? Probably. We haven't really got too many odd ones. One of them's to be up in the bar by. Can't remember. It gives you like 10, 15 minutes to get changed and get up to the bar. It's a bit of an odd one. Flip flops. They're no real crazy ones. I think on maybe the worst dressed, there's usually a fine for the worst dressed on a night out.
Is that Niz again?
Yeah, it's usually it's usually Niz. So yeah, Niz on that one. Usually comes as a fancy dress.
Right. Question from Will was: you'd have to name your best five-a-side team made up of Slough players that you played with.
Right,
You can put yourself in it if you want.
No, I haven't. There's plenty better players than me. I've thought about it. I'm not going to do the current squad. I thought that's a bit unfair. So I've written them down actually. I've gone for players I've played with during my time at Slough. So we'll have a goalkeeper. I've gone with Mark Scott. I think when he came to the club, it was a big improvement, especially in the goalkeeper department from what we had previously. So Scott, he's a good lad as well. Defender, I've got Dave Woosley. Fans' favourite, good captain. When I first came, sort of real experience, and I was only 20, 21 at the time. So having a player like that in the club was good for my development, certainly in that first year. Midfielder, I've got Clergy. Clerg's playoff decider, obviously a massive part of that first promotion. And when he was on the top of his game, sort of the first couple of seasons, he was a great player, and I think he would have got into any side of that level and above. What have we got? That's three. Dobbo, I think. I've said before like how good he was that season before he left Slough, and he sort of scored goals anywhere from. So being in a five-side team, he'd be pretty good. How many have I got there? 1, 2, 3.
4.
I've done 4 there. I've actually put down too many. I'll put Jilksy in there as well because I think he was a real talent, but we never got to see, unfortunately, how good he was. I think I played against him a couple of times, and every time he was in the team I played against, I sort of thought, God, what a player he is. And when we got him, I thought he'd be a real special player for Slough. It was unfortunate with his injuries and stuff. So he can go on the bench because I'll put Eddie Smith down as a striker. Eddie's a good lad, good laugh, and he used to score goals, big goals as well. And he'd certainly put in a tackle as well. So be entertaining having him on your team.
Well, I guess the good thing with having Ed in the team is that he'll get a lot of chances to miss as well as score.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if he took all his chances or most of them, he'd probably be on like 300 plus goals. I don't know what he's on, but he's certainly up there.
95 and 149 games. He's on.
Yeah, it's good record. Good record.
It's almost a mirror image of you, mate.
If only I played up front.
Your favourite TV show?
Favourite TV show?
I guess at the moment something like Teletubbies or something with the
Yeah, I'm like Eagle Piggles up there at the moment. Sort of 6:30 or 7. I don't miss one. What was on Idris Elba was in? It was Netflix. Nah, he's in a lot, isn't he? That's a bad BBC. Luther, yeah, that was I'd say that was a good TV show. I enjoyed that one.
Okay, and if someone was going to play you in the Sean Fraser story once you've got to 1,000 appearances, who's going to be?
God, good question. We'll go with. Who do I go with? Who's the guy at Twilight?
Robert Pattinson, is that it?
Robert Pattinson, yeah, go with him.
All right, we'll let you have that. The final question, I'm going to change it slightly because of who you said your favourite moment was. You got a chance. You can fight 10 duck-sized Kettering players or 1 Kettering-sized duck. Who's it going to be?
I saw that question. Have you posed this question to everyone? I thought.
Yeah.
I'll go with the second one.
You want the man-sized duck?
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Yeah, it'd be easy. I don't know what anyone's worried about. Sean, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy time. Congratulations on being in the top 10. Long may it continue.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
And stay safe, and hope people see you on the football field soon.
Nice one, Ade. Cheers for your time.